So let's talk about the 180 paradox. I talk about it in the book, Beyond Recovery. And what I mean by that is that every large spiritual insight that I've ever had has always been 180 degrees different from the way that I thought it would be. In other words, the world works 180 degrees differently than I thought, or so it is initially seen anyway. So in other words, I think that there's a separate me. We talked about this in other videos. I think there's a separate me and that there's a world out there. And then the 180 from that is to see, oh my goodness, there's not a separate me and there's not a separate world. You know, that there's just one thing going on. I'm really this awake space. I'm not actually this little man sitting in awake space. I am awake space, and the little man is sitting inside of me. See, that's the 180 that's the initial 180 paradox. But there's a further 180 paradox from that. And that is the fact that when we live with that for a little while, when we've gotten over being the human being and we've had a spiritual awakening, then we can see that, oh, I'm, just what I say, I'm not the little man, I'm the awake space. But then we can move into something new, another 180, which is, or another view, which is that the 180 degree view that I took, that I'm not the little man, I'm the awake space, is as inaccurate a view as the initial one was. In other words, at one point I'm saying I'm not the little man, or I am the little man, and the next one I'm saying I am not the little man. But the truth of the matter is that I'm both. See, the human mind loves that off, on, 0 and 1, just like computers. It wants to make hard lines and declarations, and this is so and that's not so, and that's not so but this is so. That's what we want to do. That's what we really like, is yes, no. But see, that's not the way the universe works. It's just not that simple. So we can have an initial seeing that we're not the human being, and that's huge. I'm not playing that down at all. It's huge. That's a great thing to happen to us. But we don't want to stay there. I stayed there for years. And I had actually knew, I'd seen the other side, but I had not lived from the other side. So as a result, when I'm not living, when I'm not standing as awareness, when I'm not living from wholeness, I'm going to be like a tennis ball. I'm going to oscillate from one side to the other. One day I'm going to be the little man, the next day I'm going to be awake space. See, and there's suffering in that too. Because once you've been the awake space, you don't want to be the little man anymore, because that's all suffering. Unless you are the little man with the awareness that you are the awake space. Man, there's the beauty. That's non-dual awareness. That's living in freedom. That's resting in yourself. That's authenticity. That's reality. There's nothing better, folks, than being both at the same time. Because see, when I'm both, what am I? I'm all of it. See, the interesting thing is that first I was the little man. That can be seen as being 180 degrees, one half of the circle, can it not? Because I am one thing, and then I'm not the awake space. Now suddenly I'm the awake space and not the little man. That's very obviously, that's the other side of the coin. That's the other half of the circle. That's the other 180 degrees. Anytime I've got a hard line like that, I can know I'm coming from duality. It's very obvious. This is non-duality. See, this is not about making hashim. It's just like the philosophers fighting over free will. You know, they've been doing it for hundreds and thousands of years, I guess, ever since the Greeks. Which is, oh, well, I'm this guy. Do I have free will or do I not have free will? Well, I mean, if you're not that guy, it doesn't even apply. So we get lost in the 180s. We get lost in the argument that the ego loves, because as long as that argument's going on, it gets to live. But in the absence of that argument, where's ego then? See, ego is the argument. In the absence of that argument, all that remains is this. What's there to argue about with this? See, in the absence of this or that, nothing, all of it. If I'm all of it, what am I going to argue with? And why would I argue with it? Because it's already here. It's already been accepted. It's a fait accompli. This is already here. What am I going to argue about? It's raining. Okay, if I argue about that, what have I achieved? Well, I've taken the fact that I didn't want it to be raining, and I've added my suffering to it. I'm worse off than before. If that's a plus for you, have at it. But that's not the way I want to live. I don't think it's the way that you want to live either. We don't want to be stuck in the 180 little man, and we don't want to be lost over there, because when we're lost in that, when we're lost in the spaciousness of things, everything can get kind of damn dry, and I think it leads to nihilism. It just, I mean, because becomes a who cares? I mean, because I have no more interest in relativity because I'm this big bad absolute over here. Well, where's the fun in that? There's no fun in that. What we want to do is we want to be back in here with the juice, but we don't want to have to take it seriously. See, I can tell you, I love all this that's going on right now. You know, my life's very exciting. My practice is growing, and the books are featured on Amazon, and all this kind of stuff I never dreamed of. And it's very exciting. The unit cannot hardly sleep for excitement, and I'm just delighted to let it, because I know that if it all falls off the edge of the cliff tomorrow, I'll be okay, because all that's occurring in me. It's not occurring to me. It's occurring for me. The movie is directing itself, and all I got to do is watch. I not only don't have to get involved, but if I do get involved, I actually can't get involved because I'm it. If there's involvement, it's the character always. The character loves to get involved. He loves to ride that roller coaster because it's scared of not riding the roller coaster. Because in the absence of the roller coaster, there's no character. So you're looking at annihilation. You're looking at essentially the death of the character. That's what it thinks, but see, it's not true. It's not the death of the character. It's the death of the seriousness of the character. The most awake guy on the planet or woman on the planet is still got a character, functioning character. Ganga Ji has got a fine character. I love her. Adyashanti, great character. He's terrific. Rupert Spire, wonderful. Scott Kilby, Greg Good. All these people that are so awake, they're wonderful. And they all got characters. They all got ticks. They got things they like. They got things they don't like. And they enjoy liking and not liking those things. They got preferences, but they're not married to them. I have preferences, but I'm not married to them either. You have preferences. How about yours? You're the important one here. Are you married to your preferences? There's a way out of that. There's a way out of all that frustration. There really is. I'm not just pulling your leg. We got methods in non-duality. There's methods in my book. There's inquiries in my book. You can read Awakening Clarity for free. You don't have to pay anything. You can find out a lot. You get a long way toward freedom with just the free things like this on the internet. So avail yourself of what is there. Avail yourself of what is freely available and been made freely available for you by those of us who know that we're helping ourselves. I'll see you later. Thanks for coming in.